Now the Spirit of the Lord is the one that speaks through me. Before my mother's womb, he ordained and knew me, ransomed me, and placed his words upon my tongue. Few are chosen, rest assured that I am one, an ambassador for Christ, his beloved son. And by his word, let souls be one. So welcome everyone to this listening party. Sit back and let your souls be hearty. Celebrate with me the gift that God has imparted. And what better way to get this party started than to give him the stage, because he knows where your heart is. Holy Spirit, you are welcome in this place. Give me the boldness to look upon each face and speak every word that you've given me to say. With no fear, I speak truth. I won't deviate, and I'm confident that all will go great. So let your presence saturate this place. I breathe in your spirit, I intake a river full of life, water in every dry place. As I flow to the notes that heaven navigates, let it bless every listener and free them today. Let the truth of your word draw souls to be saved. Let the comforter comfort hearts today, and let the light of your word show them the way. Every time I write, I tell his story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. He opens up to me and shows me his glory. He gives me the strength to keep on soaring, and when I open up my mouth, for him I'm roaring. And the Spirit of the Lord goes before me, to the captive set free, that's reassuring. Over the years he strengthened my inner core, and every day I wake up just seeking him more. Am I ready for this? In my spirit I'm sure I am in Christ, and my Father I adore. He redeemed me from destruction, I am his ambassador. As the world turns and open up the door, I step in with purpose to win souls for the Lord. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell the story as I bask in the truth of his word before me.
Hey gang, how you guys doing? Tom the Bomb here. Hey, I got my Masters greens on today as we're going to be talking about Rory and the Masters. We just got back from our Myrtle Beach / Williamsburg trip, so it's like awesome. It's just good to be back. It's nice to get away and kind of chill out and get some R&R in. But hey, welcome to the Tom the Bomb Show, and this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. If you don't think it's a great day, just try missing one. And we LOVE love sports on the Tom the Bomb Show. I'm your host, Tommy Wood, and we got another fantastic show for you guys today, gang. Alrighty, okay. Hey, it's Monday, April 14th. It's the day before taxes. We spend most of the morning getting our taxes and stuff done. Man, you know, if there's a list, there's like going to the dentist, getting a root canal, going to the DMV, and then doing your taxes. I don't know. I don't know which one is worse, which one is better, but those are the three things that you just really, really don't want to be involved in. So, like I said, hey, it is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. If you don't think it's a great day, just try missing one. And we LOVE love sports and the Word of God on the Tom the Bomb Show. And hey, gang, yes, we are live on Facebook. Our contact number here is 301-655-9992. And you can catch all the replays immediately after the live show on YouTube. You can also contact us by email at info@tomthebombsports.com. And of course, you can always visit our website at www.tomthebombsports.com. Hey, gang, I'd like to personally thank you all for your prayers and support. We hear you loud and clear. For everyone that have reached out wanting to contribute to the show and our ministry, we sincerely thank you. With that, we appreciate your patronage, and you can bless us to keep creating great content and spreading the word of God. Our business cash app here is hashtag $Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. We sincerely thank you and may God bless you 100-fold return on the seed that you've sown into our ministry at the Tom the Bomb Show. As usual, we want to start off by thanking God for all the wonderful things that He's already done for us and for you every single day last year, all the way through 2025. Our theme, of course, for 2025 is living in the grace realm. And yes, we are going to be on Friday doing our grace devotionals. We're back. But living in the realm of grace, our foundational scripture for 2025 is found in 2 Corinthians 9:8. And it says, yes, God is more than ready to overwhelm you with every form of grace so that you will have more than enough of everything at every moment and in every way. He will make you overflow with abundance in every good thing that you do. Hey, we don't have trivia questions today. Hey, but we do have our poll question from last week. And man, we got a really, really good response from this one. But hey, overwhelmingly, it was MJ, Michael Jordan, the GOAT, and as you guys can see, it was a pretty good list. We talked about Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Kevin Durant, a basket waiting to happen, LeBron, Kobe, Damian Lillard, Reggie Miller, my man, Steph Curry. But hey, guys, you guys overwhelmingly said it was MJ, Michael Jordan, the GOAT. And Tom the Bomb is in 100% agreement with you. We know maybe that's why you're watching, because we're in one. But we ain't always in 100% agreement, but we are in 100% agreement on this with the majority of the people who actually voted. We do thank you for participating. It is important. We want to know what you think out there. That's one of the reasons we do the poll questions and we do the trivia. So no trivia today, but that was the answer to our poll question from last week. So hey, gang, let's get to it. A tradition unlike any other. I'm trying to sound like my main man, James Dan. A tradition unlike any other. Hey, the sacrificial lamb, Rory McIlroy, emerged victorious at Augusta National as the winner of the 89th Masters tournament, capturing the one major that had eluded him, putting himself into golf immortality. Rory McIlroy was in a shootout with Justin Rose. With both tied at 11 under par, they needed only one playoff hole to win the 2025 Masters Championship on Sunday. The 11-year chase to secure the final piece to complete his Grand Slam and join golfing elite by winning the 89th Masters. Rory has now won the U.S. Open, the British Open, the PGA Championship, and now the Masters to complete the golf Grand Slam. Rory McIlroy joins greats Gene Sarazen, Ben Hogan, Gary Player, Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, and now, like I said, Rory McIlroy becomes the sixth golfer in golfing history to complete the career Grand Slam. Only two golfers have accomplished this task in the last 59 years. That tells you how remarkable it is. Think of all the great golfers through history that have been able to do what Rory completed yesterday. Think about this. The King, Arnold Palmer. My favorite golfer, Lee Trevino, Phil Mickelson, Byron Nelson, Tom Weiskopf, Gary Player, Slammin' Sam Snead. How about Walter Hagen? We wear his clothes. Tom Watson, Severiano Ballesteros, okay? Nick Faldo, Billy Casper, Ernie Els, Greg Norman, old Tom Morris, young Tom Morris, Nick Price, Hal Irwin, Jimmy Demerit, Ray Floyd, Bobby Locke, to name some really historic golfers and some of the best that's ever played this game. And now Rory has done something that all those people I just named hasn't done. Rory, known as a choke artist, played a bipolar he played a bipolar round of golf, finishing one over par with a 73 on Sunday before going into the playoffs. Playoffs? Yep, setting up a dramatic ending a tradition like none other at the Masters. Rory had a one-shot lead heading to the 18th hole with Justin Rose, the leader, in the clubhouse at 11 under par. Now, when from the middle of the fairway, 125 yards away, Rory turned into Tom the Bomb and dumped his historic shot approach into the bunker, and then leaving himself a testy right to left putt that I and 1,000 other folks knew he was going to miss that putt. And he did, forcing the playoff with Justin Rose, who fired a closing round 66 with 10 birdies in the round. The two players replayed the 18th hole for sudden death to determine the winner. Both players hit great tee shots on the 18th. The second shot, though, Rose nearly jarred it. He nearly hit it into the hole, and he left himself a 15-foot downhill slider of a putt. While McIlroy, with the same 125 yards approach shot that he just dumped into the bunker in regulation, Rory flagged it. He absolutely flagged it. He threw a dart to within 4 feet away from the hole. Somebody's closer. Rose couldn't make his birdie putt and settle for par, and McIlroy had to face his demon again and finally made the putt to earn his first green jacket and complete his career Grand Slam. Rory collapsed to his knees in celebration, shedding tears of relief and jubilation. Rory said, "It feels incredible." McIlroy said, "This is my 17th time here, and I started to wonder if it would ever be my time." I was wondering that to myself, Rory. I really was. Rory is one of the most recognizable and polarizing names in golf, known for his strong stance and quick to give his opinion on a lot of things he really shouldn't. But Rory burst into the scene after becoming an accomplished amateur. He turned pro at 18, and he won his first major at 2011, the U.S. Open, right here in the DMV at Congressional Country Club in Potomac, Maryland. He won the PGA Championship in less than 1 month span. And then he looked like he was going to win the Masters in 2011 as he took a 4-stroke lead into the final round of the Masters before a disastrous final round of 80 and finished tied for 15th. For the next 11 years, Rory struggled at the Masters. But something felt different about this year. McIlroy met and had lunch with the GOAT, Jack Nicklaus, winner of 6 green jackets, about how to play the course shot by shot. After Jack listened to Rory explain how he was going to attack Augusta, the GOAT told McIlroy, "I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change a thing about his game plan and his approach." Nicklaus, Gary Player, and Tom Watson all said, "I believe this is Rory's week, and he'll win the 89th Masters." Obviously, that was a good omen from guys who know what they're talking about. Now, unlike Tom the Bomb, I was like, "I'll believe it when I see it." Well, congratulations, Rory. Congratulations, you did it. After starting the week off with typical Rory mishaps at Augusta National, Rory showed great resilience, bouncing back on Friday and Saturday moving day. That's what they call Saturday on tour moving day, with a spectacular back-to-back 66s to get to 12 under par and first place by 2 shots heading into the final round. What was set up as the biggest fight since Ali Frazier, McIlroy was paired with LIV rival Bryson DeChambeau for what looked to be a storybook pairing. After a couple of early fireworks, Bryson kind of fizzled out. His iron game won there, and Rory started his helter-skelter final round. On holes 7 and 15, Rory displayed why, when he's on his A game, no one in golf is better. Those were both shots of the year candidates, both of it. I've said it over and over and over. If everyone is on their A game and Rory's on his A game, you can't beat Rory. Okay. Tiger Woods told his son Charlie, "Don't pattern your swing after mine, pattern it after Rory's." Man, isn't that a compliment? From tee to green, not even Scotty Scheffler, the tour's #1 ranked golfer, is better. But Rory is a streak putter. If he's on, he's on. But like streak shooters, you go cold. You live by the three, you die by the three. And Rory doesn't have the consistency on the greens to be considered a great putter. Rory's friend, Tiger Woods, sent a congratulatory message. It basically says, "Hey, welcome to the club." Tiger Woods said, "Completing the Grand Slam at Augusta is something special. Your determination during this round and this entire journey has shown through. And now you're a part of history. Proud of you," Wood said. A 15-time major winner himself. Tiger has won 15 majors. He's won every major at least 3 times, and he has won 5 green jackets, the last one in 2019. McIlroy now has 5 majors, which includes 2 PGA championships in 2012 and 2014, a US Open in 2011, and a British Open in 2014 to go along with yesterday's Masters win. The golf talking heads believe this win at Augusta should free up Rory to win a lot more majors in the future. What do you guys think about that? Well, we will see, right? With the pressure off, they feel he'll play more relaxed and he should win even more now. This was the feel good story that everyone was looking forward to. Just coming off like I said, our yearly Myrtle Beach Williamsburg golf trip, one of the thoughts that came to me was one of the really great things about golf is we've just come off of the NCAA men's and women's basketball championship, and we saw some very controversial officiated games come into play. We also saw Mother Wiggs, Kansas City Chiefs, get home cooking all year long and aid in the point spread in that playoff game against the Texas. Tom the Bomb still ain't happy about that. We see umpires in baseball change the outcome of baseball games with balls and strikes, either called or not called. But here's the thing. In golf, there are no officials. There are no umpires to affect the game, to make a critical call. As a matter of fact, unlike any other sport, penalties and rules infractions are called by the players themselves and on themselves. They call fouls on themselves. And your true opponent is actually the golf course itself. Check this out. In golf, no one is playing defense against you. It's like the goalie's pool. If you can get it in the hole, you can get it in the hole. No one is playing defense against you except within your own mind. It's the closest game that I've played. It's the closest game that I've played that it closely resembles life itself. There's a saying in golf: golf is a game to be played, never to be mastered. I can remember Greg Norman saying there was a time when it was impossible for me to go out and play golf and not shoot 72 or better. He said it was impossible. Well, that ain't how it is for Greg Norman and a lot of us now. It's a phenomenal game. I'm really, really happy for Rory. I am really, really happy for Rory. Orlando told me, he said, my boy from East St. Louis, he said, "You better show some love to my guy Rory today, Tom the Bomb." So Orlando, I'm showing love to your boy, Rory McIlroy. I hear you, Curtis. I hear all you guys. I hear all you Rory guys, because you guys, you guys know. Hey, I have to admit, Tom the Bomb been kind of hard on the sacrificial lamb. He has been, but he kind of put himself in that position. But like I was talking with Dr. Lauren the other day, Rory changed. He repented. He asked for forgiveness. He admitted that he was wrong. And man, that always that's a man's man when you'll stand up and do that. So many other athletes, they just won't do that. It's always somebody else's fault. I ain't calling out nobody's name. Yeah, y'all know who I'm talking about. Hey, look, there was a lot of things going on. And last week we kind of talked about some things at Augusta about pricing and tickets, but I just thought I'd throw some more interesting things out there and we go over this. The 10 things that you can't do at the Masters if you actually decide to go. So I just thought I'd share these things with you guys if you guys are actually lucky enough to get tickets and go to the Masters. Number one, there's a no phones policy. No phones allowed. There's a complete ban on phones. They actually have on-site phones if there's some kind of emergency. You can't even have a cell phone in your pocket. They actually have spotters on the property, and if they see that you have a cell phone, they're going to ask you to leave the property. They are very, very strict about this. And I'm going to go over these rules, and you might listen to some of these rules and you say, "Well, that's stupid. Well, that's silly." Look, here's the thing. It's their park, it's their rules. It's that simple. It's their park, it's their rules. If you want to come on their hallowed grounds, you're going to follow the rules. So these are some of the things that you cannot do if you're on the property. That's number one, no phones. Number two, there's absolutely no running. No running. When the gates open, it's like an exercise. It's like a power walk race as the Patriots race for their favorite viewing positions. It's it's really really cool. I often think of this skit where Richard Pryor, when he was talking to his kids, he said, "Didn't I tell you not to run through the house?" And the kids like, I wasn't running. I wasn't running. I was walking real fast, but I wasn't running because you told me not to run. Well, there's no running out at Augusta. That's number two. Number three, they have what's called a chair policy, which I think is really, really cool. The chair policy is you cannot sit in someone else's seat, even if it's been unattended for hours. So what the patrons do is they rush to their favorite spot, not running, they walking, they rush to their favorite spot, and at the start of each day to basically mark their spot with their Masters branded chairs. We're going to get to that in a second. And they can leave them and they can come back to them at any time. And then they can walk around, do whatever they want, but they know that their chair is going to be there. And most importantly, ain't nobody gonna be sitting in their chair. Okay, it ain't like Cedric the Entertainer. You go to a concert and somebody sitting in your seat, they ain't supposed to be in your seat. That you don't have to worry about that at the Masters. Okay. Number four, no sitting on the grass is permitted. No, you're not permitted to sit on the grass. You sit down on the grass while you're watching the Masters. You must have a chair or you must stand. Okay, that's the purpose of the chairs. There's no sitting on the grass. That's number four. You can't do that. Also, usually it's a beautiful time of the year. There's no sunbathing allowed. Obviously, you can't lay down on the hallowed turf and take in some rays. It's strictly prohibited. They're like, you're there to watch golf. You're not there to get a suntan. If you want to get a suntan, go to Florida, get on the beach or whatever, or Myrtle Beach or what's our place in Rehoboth? Yeah, that's what we go Rehoboth a lot. Okay. Number six, no branded goods. It's why you see so many Masters logos. It just can't be overly branded goods allowed on the property. The Masters Golf Shop is very popular, and it's why you see so many Masters hats, polos, and jackets. And let me tell you how serious they are about. I mean, they serious like CIA, FBI kind of thing. Let me tell you how serious they are. If you guys can remember, I think it's maybe about 3 years. It was either 2 or 3 years ago. uh, Lee Elder was the first black golfer to ever play at the Masters. And it was the anniversary of Lee Elder being at the Masters. So, you know how they have the traditional where Jack Nicklaus and used to be Arnold Palmer and Gary Player would hit the traditional starting tee shots. Well, they were honored in this particular Masters, they were honoring Lee Elder. So they had Lee Elder on the tour. And Gary Player's son was standing behind Lee Elder, and Gary Player has a set of golf balls he manufactures the golf ball, and his son was standing behind Lee Elder, holding the golf balls in his hand, where you could see the brand of the golf ball. And the Masters banned Gary Player's son for life. Banned him for life because he stood there and he tried to advertise his dad's golf balls, and they banned him for life. That's how serious they are about this. They don't play around at Augusta. The other thing, number seven, is they allow no tipping. No tipping is allowed. It's not allowed at Augusta National. They don't want members being treated differently based on how much they tip. So no tipping is allowed. Also, which is kind of obviously, you're not allowed to have any kind of coolers. There's no coolers allowed. The Masters make sure that food and drinks are very affordable. I told you what the cost of the tickets are, so they can afford to keep the food down. With their famous pimento cheese sandwiches and egg salads, they're still just $1.50. If you want a club sandwich, which is Lori's favorite, or ham and cheese, they're just $3. Water's $2. They have over 30 items on the menu with nothing costing more than $6. And they just introduced a tomato empanada salad, a tomato salad. It's supposed to be a delicacy down there. It's off. And then number 9, there's the shoe policy. The shoes are required. No bare feet are allowed. No bare feet are allowed. And then number 10, all caps must be worn forward. No backward caps while you're on the property. It's not allowed. And like I said, let me tell you how serious they are. Just to take it a little further, just this past Masters, there was an amateur that played in the Masters, and his golf coach was there. And his golf coach, and the coaches are allowed to come on the driving range because that's their player. But the golf coach came on the driving range and he was wearing shorts. And shorts are allowed for the patrons, but shorts are not allowed on the golf course or the driving range. And they put this kid's golf course out because he had on shorts on the driving range. So that's how serious they are. They don't mess around at Augusta, boy. So if you guys ever are lucky enough to take a trip down to Augusta and check out the Masters, which I do highly recommend, do it. Hey guys, let's take a break, and we'll be right back after our sponsors commercials. We're going to pay some bills, and we're coming back. We're going to be talking a little bit basketball. We'll be right back.
Window Nation is on the Morgan's home turf to huddle up about replacing their drafty old windows.
This free estimate is showing how easy it is to tackle the problem.
We can get any of these windows custom made.
Yes, you can get the quality and style you really want.
And at a more affordable price than they ever imagined.
Now that they've sealed the deal, they'll be saving money year-round.
We're really confident with Window Nation.
Get your free estimate today and get 60% off all windows plus no interest or payments for 24 months at getwindownation.com.
Sheltered by the Sea of Cortez, Danzante Bay is a pure and peaceful oasis, an uncrowded retreat where your options are as vast as your views. If you're seeking a vacation that defines luxury and the true relaxation, look no further than Villa del Palmar at the islands of Loreto. A splendor of true Mexican hospitality effortlessly blends with rich materials and insatiable comforts to bring guests the ideal home away from home experience. With its quiet beaches, scenic vistas, rich history, and an astounding surrounding natural habitat, you'll feel as though you've been swept off to paradise. Not to be outdone, Reese Jones has crafted TPC Danzante Bay, a brilliant, multi-themed 18-hole golf course that runs over and through valleys, arroyos, dunes, and foothills. From every angle, striking images of the islands of Loreto and the surrounding mountain range take your breath away, while the challenging yet rewarding Baja Golf Course beckons you to return for more. It is an honor and my pleasure to welcome you to the world's most beautiful sunset and so much more.
Hey gang, and we're back. Hey, it's that time of the year. If you're thinking about doing something around your house, you got some work you want to have done with your windows, your doors, your siding, your roofing. Hey man, give Window Nation a call. They're a fantastic company. I have known those guys since the very, very beginning. They're in the top 5 in the top 500. They're in the top 5 in the top 500 company of home improvement company. So if you guys need anything, make sure you mention that Tom the Bomb sent you. And man, if you guys ever get a chance to go to Laredo, you just got to do that. That's one of Lori's and I favorite spots. That's my second favorite golf course in the whole world. It's absolutely spectacular. So either way, whether you're going to Laredo or Window Nation, make sure you mention Tom the Bomb and get yourself a discount on that. All right, and tell them Tom the Bomb sent you. Again, let's move on. Let's talk about a little. Let's get to basketball. Hey, listen, the Denver Nuggets, man, what's going on in the NBA? They're firing all of these coaches. Look, the Memphis Grizzlies let their coach go a week or two before the playoffs. I heard another coach just got fired today, and we're getting ready to talk about the Denver Nuggets have fired Coach Mike Malone and the general manager, Calvin Booth. With just a few days left in the season, they fired the most successful coach in franchise history, an NBA champion just 2 seasons ago. For the past 10 years, Michael Malone has been the lead narrator of the Denver Nuggets story. Malone played the tough guy the team needed during its championship run. He was very loyal and supportive to Jamal Murray after his devastating knee injury, and he's been the Pied Piper for Nikola Jokic hype man during the last 3 years of his MVP season. After 4 losses, Malone challenged his team to look in the mirror and say, what can I be doing better to help this team? And then he says, I'll start with me. I'm not doing my job to the best of my ability as a coach. Now, I can specifically remember John Thompson saying, he used to say, be careful about blaming yourself because people are listening. Now, little did Malone know, or anyone in the Denver locker room suspect, that the Denver president's Josh Kroenke had for months been asking the same questions. The Nuggets were just 12-13 since the All-Star break. Although still in fourth place in the West, a Cold War had developed with the head coach Malone and the GM Calvin Booth. Calvin Booth, wanting Malone to play more of his draft choices, had become toxic for everyone in the organization. A team source said everyone in the organization was miserable. Ownership felt that removing the two problems would allow the organization to get back to focusing on basketball. The winning, this is what he said. He says, winning was hiding the cracks in the foundation of the organization. Once the losing started, it became an avalanche. The owners wanted to clean house at the All-Star break, but the Nuggets went on an 8-game winning streak, and that put that halt to those actions. See, winning can mask a lot of things. I think we saw that this year with Mother Wiggs Kansas City Chiefs. They won a lot, but I never seen the team win so many games that they should have lost. So winning can really kind of mask some problems. It's they decided to get rid of Malone, and Mike Malone was not happy at all. And this guy just won an NBA championship, 2 years ago. I think he's got a right to be upset, the way he went out. But hey, listen, just for the record, I wish my boss would fire me and pay me 2 years' salary to go. For you and I, we would look at that like a vacation. Like, Kenneth Hill, you're fired. Go home. I'm going to pay you for the next 2 years. Could you live with that, Kenny? Yeah, so somebody fire Tom the Bomb and pay him for the next 2 years. I'll sign up for that. I'll lick my wounds in Laredo for 2 years. All right, reel it in, Tom the Bomb, reel it in. All right, look, okay, so look, the NBA playoffs. Let's get the NBA playoffs is about to get started. The NBA's regular season is in the books. After a dramatic finish on Sunday, the top 6 playoff spots in each conference have been secured, and the play-in tournament matchups are set. So here are the matchups in the schedule. Okay, the play-in tournament begins on Tuesday, with the 2025 NBA playoffs starting on Saturday. So let's go through this. So in the Eastern Conference playoffs, the matchups are as is, English stuff. So the number 1 seed goes to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they're going to play the play-in team to be arranged. So we don't know it. And the number 2 seed was the Boston Celtics, and they get the number 7 seed, which will be the play-in team to be arranged, okay? The number 3 seed is the New York Knicks. They're going to be going against the number 6 seed, the Detroit Pistons, okay? Then we have the number 4 seed, the Indiana Pacers, versus the number 5 seed. They're going against the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, the play-in matchup is going to be number 7, the Orlando Magic versus the Atlanta Hawks, and that's going to take place on Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on TNT, okay? And then on Wednesday, the number 9 seed, the Chicago Bulls, are going to take on the number 10 seed, the Miami Heat. That's also going to be at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, but that's going to be on ESPN. Okay, so that's the Eastern Conference. Excuse me. Excuse me. In the Western Conference playoff matchups, the number 1 seed all year long and the best team in basketball has been the Oklahoma City Thunder. And they'll play the play-in team, the number 8 seed, the number play-in team to be arranged. And then the number 2 seed went to the Houston Rockets. I don't know why isn't anybody giving Houston any love, man? They kind of dissing the Rockets, I kind of feel like, at a number 2 seed. But they'll play the number 7 seed in the play-in. That'll also be to be arranged. Nat Woods, LA Fakers, they're the number 3 seed. They're going to take on number 6 seed, the Minnesota Timberwolves. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. And then we got my Denver Nuggets, which is the number 4 seed, and they're going to take on the LA Clippers as the number 5 seed. Now, the play-in matchups for the West is my number 7 seed, Golden State Warriors. They're going to go against number 8 seed, the Memphis Grizzlies, and that game's going to be on Wednesday, 10 p.m. on TNT. Let's talk about that for a second, okay? So, Tom the Bomb's a Golden State Warrior fan. I am, okay? But here's the deal, okay? If the Warriors, and now granted, nobody wants to be in the play-in game because the play-in game is you win, you go on, you lose, you go home. So nobody really wants to be in the play-in game. But I'm going to tell you that the Golden State Warriors are really exactly where I wanted them to be, because if they win this game, then their next opponent is going to be the Houston Rockets. And I told you guys, nobody's giving the Houston Rockets any love. But if you look at the Oklahoma, the Thunder, if you look at Nat Woods, LA Fakers, if you look at the Denver Nuggets, the team that you want to play out of them is the Houston Rockets. So if my Golden State Warriors can get past the Memphis Grizzlies, then their next opponent is going to be the Houston Rockets, and that's going to be their best way to get to the championship game, which I don't think they're going to do, but I think that's their best route. The problem is you got the Memphis Grizzlies, who are young and talented, and in one game, anything can happen in one game. And man, when you got a guy like Ja Morant, who's just capable of doing anything and just blowing, he's brought that excitement back to the NBA from a playing standpoint, the way Allen Iverson used to play. He's got that bravado. If we could just reel him in and get him squared between the 6 inches between his ears, that would be great. If he could stop shooting it and blowing up people with his gun fingers and grenades and celebrations and all that stuff. We talked about that on a previous show. But that's the danger that they got to go through the minefield of the Memphis Grizzlies, because that's a young, very, very, very talented team. But if they can get past that one game, and on Sunday, they just lost, the Golden State Warriors just lost to the Clippers, and playoff Jimmy got hurt, so how is that going to affect them? Steph Curry was supposed to be hurt, but man, if you saw the 36 that he just pumped in on the LA Clippers, that guy is amazing. That guy is absolutely amazing. So that's the play-in game there. So that's where we are. And then on Wednesday, you also got the Sacramento Kings, the number 9 seed Sacramento Kings. They're going to take on the 10 seed, the Dallas Mavericks. That's also going to be on Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, and that'll also be on ESPN. Okay, so we got to talk about this. We have to. How do Nat Wood, LA Fakers, match up against the Minnesota Timberwolves? How do they match up? Okay, well, here's the deal. Okay, well, first of all, they split the season series, which means absolutely nothing. That means absolutely nothing. Tom the Bomb is picking the Lakers in this series. And I'm not picking the Lakers because I think the Lakers are the better team. As a matter of fact, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Minnesota Timberwolves are a better team. But But when when you say but, you cancel out everything you just said before. But the NBA wants LeBron and the Fakers to move on and be in the playoffs. So I can't even imagine the playoffs going on without LeBron James being in it after the first round and that fast rising star out of the West, Bronny James. I tried to say it with a straight face. I tried to say it with a straight face. So Tom the Bomb is taking the LA Fakers. He's taking that with LA Fakers, not because he thinks the Fakers are the better team. I just think, like we just talked about, I think the refs will be involved. I think the NBA will be involved, and they're going to get LeBron to this next level. Yeah, I love Luka. Luka's the man. But I'm telling you that the Minnesota Timberwolves have a better team. And it would not shock me at all if the Timberwolves win this series. But I just don't think the NBA is going to let that happen. So that's my thought on that. It'll be interesting. We'll get more into the NBA as we move on. But this is the great time of the year. Tom the Bomb is actually I normally I like college basketball much more than the NBA, but this is the first year ever that I actually watched more NBA than I actually watched college basketball. So I've seen more NBA games than I've ever seen before, and I'm really really excited. But this time of the year, when the NBA playoffs are, the NBA are the greatest athletes in the world. Make no mistake about it. Get your popcorn ready. And the reason I can't take the NBA during the regular season is Kenny. They play no defense. Look, man, I refuse to watch a basketball game where the score is 160 to 158. I can't watch that, man. I'd rather go to the DMV. I'd rather go to the dentist. I'd rather go back and do my taxes again today than to watch 160 versus 158. But you guys watch on Saturday. Matter of fact, you watch tomorrow and watch on Wednesday and watch on Saturday when these playoff games, these same teams that were giving up 131 points a game, you watch them lock in and lock down, and you watch them pack the ground and get down and actually start playing some defense. You actually get them to do what Mike Malone was asking the Denver Nuggets to do, and they fired that dude for it, man. Man, these athletes are really kind of temperamental, boy. It's a different breed. It's a totally different breed. So I'm really, really excited. I love the NBA in the playoffs. It's fantastic. We good? All righty. Okay. So let's move on. Like I said, I think the Timberwolves have a better team, but I'm going to take the Fakers there. All righty. Let's move on to our next topic. The University of Tennessee and head coach Joseph Heupel make a strong stance and deals the first blow to the NIL money dealing with the players. Okay, all right, let's get this. So, okay, because college football operates in secrecy behind the scenes, there are a lot of unverified rumors and reports with anonymous sources about this entire situation. Okay, because basically there's very few on the record facts out there. Okay, so with that disclaimer out there, let's get to the unverified rumors. Okay, that's been floating out there. Okay, so here's the skinny on all the fat. You guys like that? Here's the skinny on all the fat. Okay, the Oregon Ducks head coach Dan Lanning called up Tennessee head coach Joseph Heupel to tell him that, hey, your guy, your current quarterback and your Heisman candidate, Nico Amaliva, agent, is shopping him to the West Coast schools. So it's reported that Nico Amaliva was currently being paid around $2.5 million a year by the University of Tennessee, and he was seeking around $4 million from the highest bidder. Hopefully, he was trying to get it out of Tennessee, and he wanted to renegotiate for a new NIL deal with the Volunteers. And basically he was a no-show for practice. We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice, not a game. We're talking about practice. The normally affable Coach Heupel was not happy, saying he felt that his quarterback left his team high and dry. Okay, it's a position of leadership and trust. The coach went on to say that Amaliva wasn't a problem at Tennessee. He worked hard on the field, he encouraged his teammates, and he was courteous to the media and polite to the fans, and he was respectful to the staffers. But the coach expressed disappointment, emphasizing that no player is bigger than the team. Okay. This whole situation highlights the complexities of the NIL deals and their potential impact on team dynamics. So when Amaliva skipped practice and cut off negotiations, it hit a nerve for the coach. Okay, it's basically created the first holdout in college sports for more money, and likely won't be the last. Amaliva move put him in checkmate because Coach Heupel and Tennessee had moved on to keep the respect of the locker room. Other Power Five top coaches have sided with Heupel and Tennessee's stance towards Nico's actions. We're not going to do that at Miami, Coach Cristobal said, the University of Miami's coach. And he went on to say, and he said, this is what he said, I'm quoting him, he says, and I say that without any hesitation. If anyone is thinking that, they could be the best player in the world, but if they want to play holdout, they might as well play get out. Okay. We don't want to do that. We don't want Miami to become that. Too many guys have sweat and bled and laid it on the line on the field to ever become that type of a program. Skipping practice to negotiate a new deal is a major red flag due to the way it affects the rest of the team, especially at the quarterback position. With Amaliva headed to the transfer portal, Tennessee is now looking for a QB of its own in the transfer portal. Isn't this crazy? Now both sides are in limbo. Well, almost. UCLA is an early favorite to land the former five-star recruit who's from Southern California. Okay. Former Volunteers head coach Phil Farmer said, I'm proud of the stand that we took as a university. Dabo Swinney of Clemson told us that this was coming. And I guarantee you this was a driving force behind Nick Saban leaving Alabama. And look, when Nick Saban lost Travis Hunter to an HBCU, Jackson State, and Coach Sanders, the writing was on the wall. I'm out. I believe Saban came to this conclusion. I'm out of here. It's reported that Tennessee paid a total of $8 million to Amaliva to relocate to Knoxville, Tennessee, so he could take advantage of what at the time was a historic NIL deal for a high school junior. They gave a high school junior $8 million. Okay, so here's Tom the Bomb's take on this. Okay, first of all, I'm all for the kids getting as much money as they can. Get the bag. Get as much money as you can, as they possibly can. I feel like the NCAA has pipped these kids for too long, and now it's payback time. You know, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, a deal is a deal, unless he was being mistreated or misused by the coach or the program at Tennessee. He should have honored his agreement and contract. Okay. Even more than that, he should have honored his teammates. See, football is one of the most dependent sports on your other teammates. And there are a lot of other players that he bailed on. Tennessee was expected to be a national championship contender with Amaliva at quarterback. Like Lori said, maybe they should have just checked his name before signing him. Like Trump, his name told you that I was going to leave you. What do you think, Lori? You got any thoughts on that? Look at the guy's name. I'm going to leave you. The guy telling you, I'm going to leave you for more money. And like I said, this creates a red flag because this kind of paints the kid in the light that money is more important to him than his word. And, you know, we've got the NFL draft that's coming up right now. And with all the money that these organizations are going to invest in these players, man, you guys would not believe the background and due diligence that they do. And they're very, very much interested in a player's character. And, you know, when you sign a deal that's supposed to pay you $8 million over 4 years, or over $8 million over 4 years, and you decide, I want $4 million this year and $4 million for the following year, you know, you just go back to renegotiating. But hey, it's like I said, it's a situation where, hey, the rabbit got the gun, and it is what it is. So, it is what it is. So let's get. We're coming up on our section where we got to get my main man in here. Let me see if I can get him on the phone real quick. We're coming up on our famous
Connected to
5 years,
iPhone
not
250.
5 good minutes with Felix Bassey. Let's see if we can get Felix on the phone.
Connected to WNBA.
If you guys haven't had a chance to check Felix show out, it's on WBGR. It's called The Washington Den, and he is phenomenal. He is absolutely phenomenal. Hey, Felix.
Hello.
How you doing, my friend?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing fantastic. So we're up to 5 good minutes with Felix. Do I need to fill you in, or you been following?
You can just.
Let's start off with the topic that we just got through talking about with Nico Amaliva at Tennessee, forcing Tennessee's hand to try to up his NIL money, and he ends up leaving the transfer. What's your thoughts on that, Felix?
I would say. I would understand it to some extent. If he can get more, he's going somewhere where he can get more. But at the same time, I think at a certain point, you could reasonably question it. Like at a certain point, how much do you think a person should go for?
Mm-hmm.
And at what point is it just being, how do I put it, overdoing it? And I understand, like, hey, if they can do it, get more from it, I understand that. But I also understand another point of view saying, hey, you're already getting X amount and, you're already in a good position. So why continue? So I actually get both sides of that argument.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Kind of like what I'm saying, man. A deal's a deal. Like I said, I'm all for the kids getting money, as much money as they can, man. But here's the thing too. You got other, especially as a major program like Tennessee. You have over 100 football scholarship players, and quite a few of those guys have NIL deals too. And so they're paying these other guys. So I'm going to come there because of who the quarterback is. And then the quarterback bails right before the start of spring football. And now all of a sudden, I done came here and invested in this school, and I thought they had this 5-star quarterback, and now he's gone. And so I can very much see how that kind of hangs the rest of the guys out to dry. What's your thoughts on that?
I would definitely say that's just one of the things with football. I'd say life in general. It's just not. It's always you never hang your hat on one thing or go considering one factor, because you see that quarterback was their one factor. Now that he's gone, and if he was the one factor, now that he's gone, well, they're at that program now. I'm hoping it pans out for them anyway. The thing about being selected to the NFL, succeeding in a program, is not so much what your win-loss record is, or even sometimes not even what conference you're in. Sometimes it goes down to just being noticed by the right people. So I'm hoping the best for them. But going back to it, I think there is a certain point where you can't have someone going from place to place to place. There's certain limitations, I would guess. I mean, the same way in which the NFL has a trade deadline, so on and so forth. I know it's a different concept because it's beyond sports. It's also academia. Mm-hmm. So all around, this is a very complicated matter. I'm not
it's getting very, very complex now. It seems like it was easier when they was just paying the kids illegally. Hey, Felix, what's your thoughts on the NBA playoffs coming up? What's your thoughts on Nat Wood's LA Lakers against the Timberwolves, and what are you seeing in the upcoming NBA playoffs?
Well, I think Wolves versus Lakers. I think that's just the Lakers series right there. But as for the playoffs, I think the Eastern Conference Final, I think that one's obvious. You can already guess it's going to be Celtics versus Cavs, or if not that, one of the two teams in the conference final. Then for the West, I want to say this. I know the Warriors and Lakers are not exactly at the top of the standings for the West. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I said this months ago. Actually around the time of the trade deadline, I said that it's most likely going to be Lakers versus Warriors in that Western Conference Finals. Why? Because just look at how the Warriors and the Lakers have been playing since that trade deadline. They may have not amassed the same number of wins as everyone has since October, but just based on what I'm seeing, I think that's the real Lakers or the Lakers that we're going to see at the end of the season. And we're looking at the real Warriors, or the Warriors we're looking at the end of the season right now. So
Well,
those are my two big takes.
well, and this is great. I appreciate this, but for the Warriors and the Lakers to end up in the finals, that would mean that the Lakers would have to beat the Timberwolves. I mean, the Thunder, the Oklahoma OKC Thunder. You think the Lakers can take them?
Might be a 7-game series, but absolutely.
I think the only way that can happen, it have to be awful lot of home cooking going on, if you know what I'm saying. If you know what I'm saying. Hey, I think I forgot to mention that the WNBA Draft is showing up. Yep, Lori's shaking her head like, yeah, you missed that. The WNBA Draft is coming up. I think Paige Becker's going to be the #1 overall pick. You got any thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's going to be well-deserved. She's most likely going to be picked #1 by the Dallas Wings. Maybe by some sort of wishful thinking, I'm hoping that somehow the Mystics get a hold of her. But you know what? It is what it
is. Man, listen, guys. There is not a bigger, the name of Felix show is the Washington Sports Den, and there is not a bigger Washington fan in this. And this guy loves the Caps. He loves the Commanders. He loves the Nationals. He even loves the Wizards and the Mystics. This guy is legit. I guarantee you, if you cut him, you'll bleed red. Hey, Felix, you got any thought on the sacrificial lamb? You know this is my guy. You know that's my guy, Felix. You got any thoughts on the sacrificial lamb?
Believe it or not, I was actually at the Capitals game, and someone behind me said something about Rory McIlroy winning the tournament, and I immediately thought about you in this show.
Hey, Dr. Lauren said, you know what? I know I'm married now because I'm actually enjoying this golf tournament, and it's really exciting. I mean, it was one of the best tournaments in a very, very long time. It was very dramatic. Like I said, Rory played a bipolar round. He was up, he was down. Then he hit shots that I haven't seen since Tiger Woods. I mean, goodness gracious, the shot he hit on 15. That was unbelievable. It was a lot of drama. It was a tradition unlike any other. So we all happy for Rory. Anything else you got coming up, Felix, you want to share with us?
I just want to talk about the Capitals really quickly.
Okay.
First off, I mean, we were so excited about the Capitals winning, getting the divisional victory, having home ice advantage throughout the playoffs. But all of a sudden, back to life, back to reality.
I got Felix singing now. Oh man. back to reality. So how is Obi? Has Obi slowed down since he's broken the record, or is he the same? The same Obi?
He actually scored yesterday, but here's the problem. You're actually getting right into what I'm going to talk about. He scored yesterday, but that was the only goal the Capitals had all weekend. Mm-hmm. The game before that, the Capitals got shut out 7-0, so it was a football score, as I like to call it.
In hockey,
literally the next day, same opponent, lost 4-1. And what I want to get at with the Capitals, they're giving up on average about 5 goals. Now, that's an astronomical number. On average 5 goals. And that dates back all the way to 2 weeks. So you're talking about 5 goals. And I'm looking at the teams the Capitals are facing. We're not even giving up 5 goals to playoff teams. We're talking about teams such as the Buffalo Sabres. Mm-hmm. To give you an idea of how bad they are, think of the Miami Dolphins or Jacksonville Jaguars is a hockey team. So to give you an idea.
Mm-hmm. Hey, listen, I didn't get a chance to check about it, but listen, my St. Louis Blues have been on a heater. What's your thoughts on the St. Louis Blues?
This is actually the best team the Blues have been playing since they won that title in 2019. The only asterisk I put next to it, they are playing in the Western Conference. So as for winning the Stanley Cup, I'll say this. I'm seeing maybe there's an opening for them to do that. I'm probably thinking too far ahead. But at the same time, I'm looking at the Western Conference. I'm thinking if there's ever a year for St. Louis to take advantage of it, it's this year. The Oilers, last year's champion, they're in a bit of a skid. They're not exactly the same team. I'm looking at the other teams. Vancouver got eliminated. So just about everyone who looked like they're going to be a fighter this year, they went down. Only thing I'll say is this. If they can get past Dallas, I think Dallas is their only threat out west. If they get past them, they're good to go. But in terms of the East, that's really where most of the competition is.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I would say is this. If they somehow face the Capitals, now this is hard for me to admit. I actually think you guys could get one in over us because our defense is terrible right now. And I think it's largely because our goalie, he's injured. And I just got word this morning that we called up one of our minor league goalies. So this sounds like a long-term injury to Thompson.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Felix, let me get you out here on this. What's going on with your Nationals? How do you guys end up beating the Dodgers? What's going on with your Nationals?
There's a song. They could be as good as the best of them or as bad as the worst. I mean,
that's two songs from Felix in one show. It's gonna snow, gang. Oh, man. I was like, man, we talked. I was like, you think the Nationals can win? I was like, only if it's a rain out. And then they wound up and beat the Dodgers. I'm like, what's going on? Invasion of the Body Snatchers or something.
So I wanted to get to so what you said with the Nationals. I like what I'm seeing from Mackenzie Gore, the starting pitcher. So he's doing well.
Mm-hmm.
And the offense is actually starting up. So to answer your question directly, right after the songs, but to answer your question directly, I like what I'm seeing from the starting pitcher. He did a good job, and he actually was very, not just him, but also the rest of the pitching rotation, dealing with one of the best offenses in baseball, if not the best. Then also, the other wins. So the Nationals, they're trending in a good direction, but we have to just wait and see.
Mm-hmm. All right, Felix, we're going to get you out here on this. Thanks a lot, man. We'll talk to you next week. You have a good one, Felix. Thanks a lot, pal.
Of course.
All right, see ya. All right, that's my man, Felix Bassey. 5 good minutes with Felix. Hey, gang, it's Holy Week, okay? We're coming up on Resurrection Day, and we from the Tom the Bomb Show. What are you doing, Lori? Jeez. Yeah, as I was saying, it is Holy Week. We're coming up on Resurrection Day, and we just want to just wish everybody well. Just remember, Jesus is always the reason for the season. Like I said, that's our show for today. Listen, don't forget to like and subscribe us on YouTube, and hit that like bell, please. If you're enjoying the content and you'd like to bless our ministry, like I said, you can sow into the Tom the Bomb Sports Talk by Cash App. It's hashtag $ Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. And don't forget to check us out on our website at www.tomthebombsports.com. And you can also email us at info@tomthebombsports.com. Hey, for a dynamic and in-depth sports analysis, you might even get a song or two, and highlights from sports in the DMV and more, check out the Washington Sports Den on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on WBGR with my main man, Mr. Felix Bassey. Hey, man, time flies when you're having fun. We're out of time here, but we sure do thank you for spending your time with us. We don't take that for granted. We thank you. Listen, may the gates of heaven open and pour an abundance of blessings down on you where there won't be room enough to contain it. Remember, if you want it, you got to confess it with your mouth and believe it in your heart that Jesus died on the cross and that he rose on the third day, not a Thursday, right, Lori?
Right.
Just for you. As you go, we're going to live off the flow of the step into the realm of the grace. Remember, like I said, if you want, we talked about that. You got to confess it with your mouth and believe it in your heart that Jesus died on the cross and that he rose on the third day. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry. All right. You guys have a blessed week. Remember that darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. You guys have a good evening. Listen, we'll be back on Friday with our Grace Devotionals. You guys don't want to miss that. The Grace Devotionals, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, and that's 3 p.m. Pacific. So we'll be back with the Grace Devotionals. Me and Dr. Lauren. I know you guys like to see her more than me. I'm in that boat too. You guys have a good evening. Enjoy the games. Get ready for the playoffs on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and the NBA kicks it off on Saturday. Good luck to Natwood, LA Fakers. We'll see you guys out. Tom the Bomb out. We love you. God bless you. Happy Resurrection Week.
me to say what it's all about. For a long time, I've held this water in. Let the floodgates open, let the miracles begin. I've prayed, and I've gone back 7 times. Look again, cause the miracles are mine. Stir the water, I'm about to step in like the pool of Bethesda. Let the healing begin.
Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine. Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine.
It took a minute to get my composure right. For years it seems like I've been fighting for my life. Confusing times when my days resemble nights. But now this eagle is about to take flight and soar out of darkness to its revelation light. Though the waves are rough, I step out my comfort zone to walk on water, cause I know I'm not alone. God's got my back and reminds me I'm his own. His words are sweet in my mouth, they taste like a honeycomb. And faith has opened up my eyes. I've been through the fire, tested and tried. As I study God's word, I finally realize that my purpose I have to visualize, to bring the unseen from the realm of under night until I walk into the fullness of a purpose-filled life. Cause I'm light. Yes, I am light, and I shine bright. I am an investment of the Lord Jesus Christ. Not only am I light, I am salt. When I enter in, I add flavor to it all. I bring truth, there's no dispute. Jesus is the vine, and in him I take fruit. I am the head, and not the tail. I'm an overcomer made free to prevail. A new design, a special kind. Ambassador followed by wonders and signs. I am light, and I give sight, leading lost souls to his glorious light. I am light.
Daughter of mine, this is your time.